This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I got to pace myself today. Brett Blakemore. Good morning, 9:03. We are just hours from this evening from the boom that'll be taking place at Soldier Field. It is Nordo on a Monday morning. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. You're home for Minnesota Vikings football. The Fan. Text messages in play all morning, 9 to noon. 64686. Bradshaw and Bryant text line. And also the talkback machine. Free iHeartRadio app. You can hit that microphone. Give us up to your best 30 seconds. And Brett will screen them for FCC violations. We will air them. And let's bump it up this morning. It is indeed Vikings game day. Having to sit through a Thursday night thriller. Having to sit through, frankly, a somewhat unimpressive Kansas City Chiefs team on a Friday night in Sao Paulo. And then a full slate yesterday that included the nasty neighbors to the east. Their team might actually be pretty good. And then Bills-Ravens last night coming down from 15, 6-7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Josh Allen finds his way down for a Matt Prater. Didn't know he was still in the league. He's got to be like 45 years old. Basically just got off the plane and kicked a game winner for the Bills. What a game that was last night. And now it's finally here. So Brett Blakemore producing with me. Don't really want to hear about his team. It's not the time for it. But Vikings fans, it's finally here. So text messages, talkbacks, there will be opportunities throughout the show. What do you finally want to see? Again, pacing myself. Eventually, pregame, 5 o'clock, 7:15-ish, there will be kickoff. There will be the debut of one J.J. McCarthy. And then Ron Johnson and I will be taking your phone calls, texts, and talkbacks for Vikings Fan Line. Probably, hopefully, celebrating the 6th consecutive win for your Vikings at Soldier Field.
Chicago Bears.
Soldier.
United face.
I appreciate that, Carl. Wrong time slot, okay? Your comfort zone, Mr. Gerbschmidt, that would be 3 to 6:30. That would be bumper to bumper. Think about that. Soldier Field used to be such a boogeyman for the Minnesota Vikings. At one point, there was 2007. We were hearkening back. Man, how good was it in 2007? How good was it with Adrian and all those touchdowns and everything? 200-plus yards. Still had to hold on to your butts at the end. I believe it was a Longwell field goal to get out alive. 2017, you found some magic there. But now, it's a new age. It's a new era. Kevin O'Connell and the boys, very comfortable in the confines of Soldier Field on the south side of Lake Michigan. Now, with that said, expectations. We've waited so long for this. And finally, and you who listen to 9 to noon, you've supported us, you tune in, you're excited like we are. You're adult children, maybe like we are. We are rubes. In this case, I'm not in a cube. But I appreciate, did you take any PTO? You take PTO on a Tuesday following a Monday opener? Anticipate a little flu of the purple Kool-Aid celebratory variety. It's up to you. It's your PTO. Use it. Don't let anybody shame you. If you're celebrating the Vikings game opener tonight, season opener, but we've sat here all summer. God, the kid's healthy now, trying to pick apart the pieces of what he could be. It's all projections. It's all looking forward. It's all looking forward to tonight. That's what we've been waiting for. And wondering how he's going to gel. Yeah, it's cool to hear that Him and Jefferson have been throwing in the offseason. Now we got Adam Thielen back. That's pretty cool. Jalen Naylor, though, by the way, healthy after this mild fracture with his hand. Good to hear that Speedy's going to be in the mix. Speedy's going to be an option. But it's all been projection. We've all been looking forward, and now it is finally here, and I'm sitting here at 9:07 in the morning still having to pace myself, knowing that I will be ultimately driving home from here at some point around, let's call it 1 a.m., celebrating a 1-0 Vikings operation, of course. So being here for the boom and part of the show this morning, now that this will be the last 3-hour stretch, I'm going to have the Vox on. I'm going to have the actual host, the voice of the Vikings, your host 9 to noon. PA is going to join me around 9:35, from Chicago. And that will be part of the conversation. This will be the last time we chat about what could be with your 2025 Minnesota Vikings. What could be with the second-year kid that's kind of a first-year kid. Sadly, his rookie season was taken away from him because of the knee, and will actually be able to react and then move forward as a 1-0 operation. All right, again, I'm going full Rube mode. Bears have a right to be better. New head coach. Caleb Williams, torn down to the studs, built back up. We'll see how the install worked for Ben Johnson's crew. Defense with the new coordinator, going to be frustrating at times. Yeah, but we're going to be 1-0. All right. But all seriousness aside, or jokes aside, I should say, the expectations for the quarterback this year, as we've again talked ad nauseum for months, and it's finally here. Very pumped, and you can tell the energy is a little over the top this morning for the producer. If you trust the coach, we've talked about this. He didn't make a play for Kirk in the offseason. He didn't pursue keeping Darnold. He didn't even let Rodgers into the building. He stuck with the kid he drafted. And so if you trust the coach and you believe in what he's put onto the field, then you have to trust in McCarthy. You have to trust that there will be bumps in the road. There will be moments of frustration. But if you trust in the coach, you have to trust in the kid. And if you trust in the kid, you have to believe that this is going to be good. And you see the investments made on both sides of the line, specifically for McCarthy's sake. What you see on that interior is nothing like the Minnesota Moving Company has had in quite a long time. So the excitement of the Ohio State rookie, excitement of Will Fries and Ryan Kelly beefing up the interior of that line, the ability to protect him, the ability to run in short distance situations, the ability potentially to run inside the 5. How this thing gets better is the culmination of those decisions that were made months ago when we were back projecting, like we were projecting post-draft, like we were projecting in June and July, and wow, training camp's finally here. And now, less than 12 hours. I call it 10 hours and 5 minutes when you get to hear the boom on your home for Vikings football, the fan. We're going to get to see all of that in motion tonight. And thanks for hanging out. And again, text messages already starting to pour in. Talkbacks always included as well. Really appreciate those of you that listen to us and have us as a preset on the free iHeartRadio app. We're going to play those throughout the show today. But busy Timber Tech set list. As I mentioned, the host is going to join at 9:35. Got to dig into some things here. Hitman Harrison Smith, kind of a late out, and it's a minor health thing. Was kind of hoping it'd be taken care of by the opener this evening, but the Hitman not in the mix. Christian Darrisaw, I kind of just threw it in my back pocket and said, no big deal. Number 71 is going to be back for the opener. Well, he's questionable into the game. So I want to dig into some of that and just catch the vibe in Chicago from PA at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, our sideline analyst, Ben Lieber, is going to join me. A lot of Vikings inclusion from the radio crew today. We will celebrate a victory from over the weekend. On Saturday, PJ Fleck's Golden Gophers absolutely housed Northwestern State. A day of blowouts, a day of, stat padding as far as the schedule goes. The Buckeyes had like Grambling State. I think Florida State played a team that was just D2 a couple years ago. I mean, it was brutal for a lot of lower-end teams on Saturday. Northwestern State, the Demons, were at the hand of PJ's 66 points. And they could have done more if it wasn't shortened by weather. But all the same, we'll talk to PJ Fleck, head coach, Gophers football, as we do on a weekly basis. He'll join around 10:45. Then in the 11 o'clock hour, Pete Bursich, the man that sits shotgun with the host in the radio booth. He's going to join us, and we'll continue to break down, continue to celebrate, continue to look forward to. Finally, it's here. The Vikings at the Chicago Bears, 5 p.m. pregame here on the flagship. 6 o'clock on the network, and 7:15, boom! You'll get to hear J.J. McCarthy's debut on your home for Vikings football. The Fan, Brett Blakemore produces. I'm Nordo, guiding the ship while PA is in Chicago. When we do come back, though, we have to talk to Dave Sinykin. We have to do the border battle. Those guys on the other side, those guys in Wisconsin, their team looks pretty good. And we'll talk about it as little as possible. But we are going to do a border battle with the guy that we adore, Fan Family, HOF, Cinny. When we return, it's 9 to noon on the Fan.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Farm Aid 40 is coming to Minneapolis. You can join Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Kenny Chesney, Dave Matthews, and more Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium. You can celebrate 40 years of music, food, family farming, and you can enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets now on our contest page. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contests, KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Smart play from John on the text line. Nordo, I called in sick today so that I can stay up and watch the game, hopefully celebrate tonight. So my calling in sick tomorrow won't look like a cover-up for my rubedom.
Brilliant.
High level, long time. Clearly, with John. Are you going to maneuver your way through the PTO? You got it. Again, don't be shamed into using it. And hopefully it is celebratory. Vikings got to start 1-0. They got to win this game. You're going to go to the playoffs. You want to win division games. We know all of that. And part of it is keeping up with the other big timers in the NFC North, which include, sadly, these guys.
Here's the snap to Love. Throws right side of the end zone. Touchdown! Jaden Reed, right corner of the end zone. They beat Terry and Arnold again in a Lambeau leap to the north end zone stands for Jaden Reed.
I don't like the team, but I like Larrabee and McCarron. Yes!
Second down. Here's the handoff. Jacobs cuts it back to the end zone. Yes. Touchdown!
Standing up!
Off the left side of the line, Jacobs cut it back to the right. It's 23-6, Green Bay.
How you doing this morning, Mr. Sinykin?
It's a beautiful Monday, isn't it, Nordo?
It's gorgeous. It is indeed.
Border battle.
Yeah, I'm pumped because I haven't gotten to see my favorite team play, our favorite team. If we were to poll the listening audience, the text line and all included, our favorite team collectively, but your favorite team, Sinykin, you kind of handled the kiddies yesterday. I don't know exactly how you perceived or envisioned things going week one. And, all jokes aside about, the quarterback throwing off his back foot and all the receivers were injured during camp. And I kind of thought Matthew Golden might do more than he did yesterday, but all the same, all things were clicking. The defense was humming. Hafley's group is unbelievable. You kind of handled the kiddies, Mr. Sinykin.
Yeah, about time. They had won the last 3 games at Lambeau and 6 out of the last 7 after 30 years of, Packer dominance against Detroit. So Packers needed to make a statement in a division game against that team. And, you think about it all summer, like that opener against the Lions, a chance to, quash what went down last year when they went 0-6 against the Lions, Eagles, and Vikings, and just, make a statement that this is a different year. And, it actually did start with the offense. They get the ball first, and Love was in rhythm. I mean, he completed 3 third-down conversions on that first drive, culminating in a 3rd and 9 touchdown to Kraft, and then a touchdown drive right after that. And they go up a couple scores, and now it's the defense's turn to take over. And that, of course, is what everybody was excited about was, the defense was announced at Lambeau, and Micah Parsons went last instead of Xavier McKinney, and all the vibes were great. And he played about half the snaps. but he did what we dreamed of. He impacted the game, whether he notched a stat or not. He lifted up everybody else. His pressure on Goff led to a pick late in the second quarter that really ended the Lions' hopes. They had a chance to cut the lead to 7 at halftime, get the ball back. Maybe it's a new ball game, but he forces Goff into a pick. And that defense, I mean, they held Jahmyr Gibbs 19 touches for 50 yards total, 10 catches, 31 yards. Everybody was concerned about Green Bay's run defense. They held the Lions to 2.1 yards a carry. Maybe that's their mushy interior offensive line. Maybe it's that the Packers defense has reached another level. It was a really exciting first step against a contender and a statement game for this 2025 Packer team.
You mentioned Parsons playing about half the snaps. What'd you like, not like, or just overall, what'd you think about how they deployed him in his first game? You hear a little terrorism about the back into the whole thing, getting an injection, but you mentioned he changed the game. He got that sack late. How do you think they used him? You like what you saw there?
Yeah, they were careful. I mean, he did not need the epidural, so he didn't get the shot.
You didn't? Okay.
They just used the treatment they thought could take care of business and realized that not only is it a long season, but they got to play again in 4 days against another NFC contender, and they want to make sure Micah's able to get back up after a summer of really no training camp and play similar maybe amount of snaps Thursday. I think we're all gearing up for him being ready to rock 100% week 4 when they go to Dallas for Sunday Night Football and make sure he can be on the field. But you just saw it. You just saw the players flying to the ball and wrapping guys up. And what's really changed for this defense, Nordo, over the last couple of years is they've gotten so fast and so physical and finally have legit big-time playmakers now on every level. You know, Parsons in the front, Edger and Cooper in the middle, McKinney on the back end. And, you know, Jeff Hafley, as Romo said, and unfortunately, if this season goes the way we hope, it's probably his last year as a Packer defensive coordinator. He's got head coach written all over him. He has transformed this defense. It was a top 10 unit a year ago in his first year as he was teaching guys the system, and they are prepared to take a massive leap led by the incomparable number 1.
One thing I was watching while I was watching the color scheme is ugly, but the team was looking pretty good yesterday. Colby Wooden. So I was just kind of curious how you guys would handle it now that Kenny Clark's down in Dallas. I hadn't heard of Colby Wooden before. Clearly the team has. Clearly the team likes him. And he had a couple of TFL yesterday. He kind of stood out to me. Did you notice Colby at all?
Big time. Yeah, number 96 was hard to miss. He's a guy that was a day 3 pick a couple of years ago that's been kind of buried on the depth chart behind Clark and Slayton and the other D linemen, but they move on for both those guys and didn't really have a natural nose tackle on the roster to replace Kenny Clark. Wooden was seen when he came in as more of a pass rusher guy, but he added some bulk, added some weight, and knew there was an opportunity with TJ Slayton leaving for Cincinnati in free agency. And man, I mean, he was, to me, the most exciting, surprising element, because my big concern, a lot of Packer fans' concern, was run defense. Now that Clark is gone, and Wooden stepped right in and impacted this game in a big way. And that's just a huge, huge step for this defense because, yeah, the cornerback room is kind of mediocre in name, but maybe a pass rush can mask that. But if teams are going to dare Green Bay's run defense to stop them, Colby Wooden's got to be that guy. And week 1, he was ready for that role, and obviously we'll see as the weeks go by if he can maintain it. But if he becomes a legit presence like he was yesterday, that makes this defense kind of scary.
Now, let me ask you this. Is there any Dave Sinykin Packer preview in the zone? We're going to talk about this fresh podcast that you got going on here in a minute or two. Is there any fool's gold associated with this? And I put it that way only because I thought Taylor Decker had never looked older yesterday. I can't tell in terms of, I'm not drilling down O-line tape, but I just felt like them trying to make this Graham Glasgow thing work. Tate Ratledge, they like him. He's a rookie. He has a chance to grow. I kind of thought that O-line spent a lot of the game in shambles, which is such a crazy heel turn shift that happened so quickly, as we would normally, of course, when Ragnow was in the mix, talk about them as having one of the best O-lines in the league. I thought they struggled mightily yesterday.
Yeah, they did. I mean, their whole interior line is different, and you just can't expect, because they have great fantasy football players, that's going to mask everything. A good defense is going to make sure that offensive line can handle its business. Now, again, I don't want to make Green Bay look like the 85 Bears after one game, and maybe it is more that the Lions' offensive line
is
a completely different unit. But yeah, I think it's a legit concern for the Lions that they don't know if they can trust those two guards. And, they've got the Bears and Ravens the next 2 weeks. So they are in a world of hurt. If it's going to take up some ramp-up time, everybody thought this might be a candidate for a regression this year with the new coordinators and the uncertainty up front. And Green Bay did nothing to quell those concerns. I mean, I think if you're a Lions fan, you have to be alarmed by what you saw from the offensive line in an offense that only managed 246 yards, the fewest that team has gotten in 3 years. So, again, we always overreact, right, to everything in week one. And a great performance, you're ready to book your tickets to Santa Clara. But for a Green Bay team that notoriously starts kind of slow, especially offensively, they turned the tables yesterday and made Packer fans feel really excited about what the opportunities might be for them this year.
Well, it's one thing we can agree on is the kiddies regressing is good for business. And what you saw yesterday, whether it's that O-line, it's the combination. Again, the defense was humming yesterday, so all respect to that. But you can't have Jahmyr Gibbs with 10 catches. You can't have Jamison Williams where he's not able to stretch the field. I think his long catch, he had like 4 for 23. It was an awful day for all of the pass catchers, but 11 yards. If they're not able to get these guys in space and get them running, I know Laporta had a nice one, but if this is going to be the game and they become matriculation central, that's everything that is the antithesis of what Ben Johnson brought that group. If they lack explosion, man, that's big trouble for the kiddies for the long haul, not just the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on their new offensive coordinator, John Morton, who's not new to the organization. He was with Ben Johnson a few years ago and helped implement the offense, but he's been in Denver, I think, the last year or two, and now he comes back with the expectations that this 15-2 unit is still going to be an elite NFC team. And I don't think it's that simple. You know, when you lose brilliant coordinators on both sides of the ball, you don't just expect that the replacements are going to step right in and not miss a beat. So I think there was definite reason for concern about the new coaches there. And, yeah, I was alarmed from a Detroit standpoint that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams against, to be fair, fairly ordinary Packer cornerbacks were not able to get separation, and a lot of that was the harassment and pressure that the Packers defense brought Goff play in and play out on Sunday.
So time for a couple of more here, and then we'll hit up this podcast. I'm assuming it's probably Packers related, and that's my goodness, but all the same, your team's 1-0. As I mentioned at the open with you, I did expect actually more out of Matthew Golden, not even ripping how he played or anything. I just thought you might see him implemented a little bit more. Was there anything out of the pass catching group in general? You're loving that Tucker Kraft got in the end zone. I get that. Jaden Reed looks explosive. It's just for everybody being so nicked up. It looks like everyone was kind of fast. Had the juice yesterday. Anything that stuck out to you?
Well, it looks like it's an offense that's not going to make fantasy football players very happy. Jordan Love hit 10 different receivers in this game, 8 of them in the first half alone. He spread it around, and Matthew Golden split snaps with Dontavian Wicks. Romeo Doubs was out there for most of the time. I think that's going to be similar. And I don't know how often Green Bay is going to use 3 receiver sets, so I don't know how much run Jaden Reed will get. I think they're going to do a lot of double tight end, 1 running back, 12 personnel stuff. So from a fantasy perspective, it might be really aggravating. But from an offensive game plan perspective, the fact that Jordan Love is comfortable in throwing to 8, 9, 10 different guys, not looking to feed somebody to pad his stats, I think that's a really good problem. I think there might be some concern down the road if receivers are looking at their box score week in, week out and seeing 2 for 20, 3 for 30, and knowing they all want to get paid in the next year or two. But we'll worry about that down the road. If this team keeps winning, you'd like to think the locker room's set up to understand that on any given Sunday, it might be a Reed week, a Dobbs week, a Kraft week, a Golden week. Everybody has to be ready for their moment when the matchup is right. But I think really encouraging that Jordan Love was in full command, 128.2 passer rating, third best of his career, got the team off to a fast start, and they never looked back on Sunday.
Man, Super Bowl or bust.
Border battle.
You know how it works in the radio business, Cindy. It's kind of like if I want to play real music, there's a certain amount of time that I can play it before corporate gets mad and lawyers start drawing up papers. So we're reaching the maximum of Packers related content that I can offer, specifically on a Vikings game day. But longtime fan family, whether it's in the zone and, of course, Packer Preview as early as possible on Sunday mornings. But you have a podcast. Yeah. I think Brett Blakemore is involved. He's wearing his green and gold sweatshirt. His girlfriend gave him a freaking water bottle. It's ridiculous. But tell us about your Packer Preview podcast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the 30th season of Packer Preview on the Fan, which I'm so proud of and happy that the Fan has allowed me to bother people on Sunday mornings to talk about my favorite team. But after 30 years of previewing games, I got the itch to actually review a game and react to what we see on whenever they play, Thursday, Sunday, Monday. So we started up Packer Review. Took me a while to come up with the title of that one. And the morning after every Packer game, Brett Blakemore and I we'll record a podcast where we talk about the game and react to what we saw, and we'll do that all season long, the morning after Packer games. And I should mention, sponsorships available if anybody's interested. We'd love to find a sponsor to tag along with us in what looks to be a rather exciting and, who knows, maybe a long, long season for the green and gold.
Absolutely. Love you. Love the podcast. It's available, of course, on the free iHeartRadio app. I have a strong distaste for your team, but we're going to be cordial and do the border battle each week, and we appreciate you giving us time, Mr. Sinykin.
Of course. I should mention, just dial up Packer Preview on the iHeart app to find the review, and best of luck to your boys tonight. I like their chances.
All right. Cheers, my friend. Have a great day.
You too. See you, Nordo.
That is the head cheese, the Sultan of Smug. It is Dave Sinykin, host of Packer Preview, along and now the Packer Preview podcast with you, correct, Brett?
Yes, sir. We put it out today. It's available for the instant reaction of just slapping around the Lions at Lambeau.
Does that mean on Friday morning I can wake up en route to the Friday feast and I'm feeling good? Vikings win, they're 1-0, and I can hear you guys reacting to Jaden Daniels just all over. Just making Edgerrin Cooper look terrible. Micah Parsons should have gotten the epidural, and the Washington Commanders on a Thursday night just house your squad. I'd be able to listen to that on the free iHeartRadio app on Friday morning, right?
Win, lose, or tie, there will be a reaction to it. And yes, at times it will be probably delicious listening for you, Purple.
All right, perfect. I better bookmark and preset that to my free iHeartRadio app. When we return, we're headed out to Chicago. PA is going to join us, and we're going to break down tonight's game. You're home for Vikings football, the Fan. The host, PA, chimes in now.
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21+.
Aquarius Home Services has your shot at 4 tickets to see Green Bay take on the Purple in early January, plus $500 in game day cash. Register for your chance to win today. KFAN.com. Keyword contests. KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
To see Green Bay take on Minnesota early January?
4 tickets.
Okay.
$500 in game day cash.
Well, the way
I didn't write it.
The way your guy Cinny was talking, apparently that's going to be for the 1 seed.
Potentially. We need that bye. Or not.
I'm in on that. And you know who else is in? He'll be on the call tonight. Special guest, 9 to noon, the host of 9 to noon, PA joining us from Chicago. Good morning, Vox. How are you, man?
Mad producer. I'm catching up on the X machine right now. Am I to believe 9 to noon began today with a montage?
I did. Yes. I had to because it's
what's your
opening
montage?
day. Well, if you remember this, we've done it a time or two in the past. Let me just pull it up here, but you'll hear this here. Oh, the boom, right?
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, no, it was well received, and then as you can imagine, I did Border Battle with Cindy last segment, so you can imagine how that was received. So you are.
Well, I can't. Yeah, I mean, from a Vikings fan standpoint, how it's received after one game, I guess would be one thing. But from a visual standpoint and from a domination standpoint, the old green and gold brought it to Dan Campbell yesterday.
They did indeed, and that's why I'm so glad you were able to join me during the opening hour, because you are the grand palate cleanser, my friend. Because at 7:15 tonight, we are going to hear the boom in earnest, and you're right there, Soldier Field, 5 p.m. pregame. And the way that I kind of open things after that montage is just, this is going to be the last conversation we have where we project what J.J. McCarthy looks like. This is where we predict how this defense is going to come together with that revamped front. This is the last conversation where we look forward. And I don't know about you, man. I'm so pumped for this game, and I'm so excited to be recapping and reacting to my favorite team starting around 10:30 tonight.
Yeah, with Fan Line and then 9 to noon tomorrow, where I'll be at the facility for at least part of it, and Kevin O'Connell will join for X's and O's tomorrow. So that's confirmed at 11 o'clock. So think about that. We are 26 hours, whatever it is, from getting the head coach's one-on-one reactions to tonight's game too. So that's the hits just keep on coming. I mean, we've said it, and I like how you laid that out, where all the conversations we've had start to come to fruition, where you can pinpoint things and, hey, I remember this was said 9 to noon, June or July, and now we're starting to see this, but what about this? What about Mason and Jones? What if they're in the game at the same time? TJ's had a wonderful off season. Let's see it come to fruition. How are they going to be without Addison? How up to speed is Thielen? He's been here a week and a half. And just so on and so on. And it should be a very good football team. The game tonight is 7:15. I'm not sure when this will run, maybe 7:05. But the pregame interview that I taped last night with Kevin O'Connell has a part of it where I asked him if, there was a moment or moments recently where, like, behind the scenes, you've seen these guys at practice and you're like, wow, I mean, this might be really, really good. And he kind of identified a moment and without going over the top saying, I know they're going to be very good. Coaches just generally don't do that. But the quiet, calm, rested confidence the head coach has in this team was just really, really cool to be part of last night. And now it's all unfurled tonight where, injuries in this game have been a common thread. Yeah. When the Bears popped yesterday with, what arguably could be their best corner. I mean, I like Jalen Johnson. I've never been over the top with him the way Pro Football Focus or the analytical type people get. I think Kyler Gordon's a dog, man. I mean, he's just been a really, really good player during his career. And but then it pops yesterday that, he's questionable with a hamstring. And, when it's over the weekend, after all the injury reports are in, and then all of a sudden somebody adds something to it, generally speaking, those players don't play. So you got those two, and then you got TJ Edwards, one of their best two linebackers, who I don't believe will play tonight. And from the Vikings standpoint, what's that going to look like? So it's a very compelling game. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and on our side of things, you mentioned, Hitman Harrison Smith not going to play, and then Christian Darrisaw labeled as questionable. Now, for me, for the last couple of weeks here, I've just kind of put that in my pocket, PA, and just like, 71's back. So just plug that in. Where's your head at in terms of big opportunity for a Theo Jackson, for instance, this safety group? We know about the depth of the cornerback room. Let's all stay healthy and we'll never worry about it. But, not having Hitman in the mix with this personal illness, and then just a little bit of cloudiness around our starting left tackle.
Well, I mean, if you believe Darrisaw is one of the, let's say, 5 best left tackles in the NFL. Personally speaking, I think the insiders think he's top 3 when he's completely happy and healthy and good to go. Obviously, discretion is the better part of valor. So if the decision is that he doesn't play tonight, it wouldn't blow me away. But if he does play tonight because he's been practicing and taking full reps at practice, that wouldn't surprise me either. But if he doesn't play, then Justin School will play. And, obviously that's something to monitor up to the game. But from a secondary standpoint, you bring up a very interesting point that we've talked about, but not a ton. But now I'm starting to think about a lot of different things up to the game. And like, you're going to have no Hitman, okay? So Jay Ward probably will play more than if Harrison Smith were going to play, then he would have played. Now, the next layer would be, okay, Ben Johnson, coach of the Bears, may not have Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Williams and Laporta and even one of your favorites, Khalif Raymond, who's like this Olamide Zacchaeus here.
Yeah.
Well, that's his new version of Khalif Raymond. It's like, you pay attention to all these guys and all of a sudden it's Zacchaeus over the top getting by somebody, for like 50 or 60. So you got to be careful with that. But even though the players here, now DJ Moore could play the Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamison Williams role for any team. He's the absolute bomb. They use him in the backfield. He can run. So DJ Moore is the A topic for this offense. But I think it's fair to say Swift not in Gibbs' class. I don't think Roschon Johnson's going to play tonight, so therefore they're David Montgomery. I don't think they're going to have him.
Yeah.
Then you get to Odunze. The two tight ends are nice. Komet knows how to play the game. Loveland would not be drafted where he was if he wasn't good, and I think he's going to be really good during his career. The point being is that when Johnson's running up 30.5 points a game against the Vikings defense, it's too convenient to say, well, that's not going to happen because he doesn't have the same players. Now the Vikings getting them at the first game, where the voluminous nature of this playbook for the Bears, I would imagine, is quite thick. And so those are just the plays. What about the nuance off the plays? What about the options during the plays where it's left or right on an option route, and now Caleb and DJ or Odunze have to get together on it, where Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jamison got together on it every single time, especially against the Vikings. So that's not full speed for the Bears. It can't possibly be. But the thing is Ben has had a way after a series or two or three of figuring out where the bones are buried on this defense. And it leads to massive yards after catch. It generally is in the middle of the field. And that's something that has to be stopped. And I don't care if it's the Bears, the Panthers, the Jaguars, or the Lions last year. It's, until we stop seeing it from this play caller with NFL players against a well-respected defense, then it should be considered a problem. So they got to stop that tonight because it's going to be coming at them fast and in the early stages of the game.
Again, it's one of those things where we're saying it's good to get them early. In some ways, they're saying it's good to get McCarthy and the Vikings early. But speaking of health, it was kind of cool to hear that Jalen's going to be an option tonight, Jalen Naylor, because Addison is missed. He's out for 3 games. He's number 2 when he's healthy, or in this case, off suspension. But the ability, Thielen's going to have to work his way into this mix. But, Justin Jefferson, things that we know are good, PA. We know 18's going to be good. We believe in the idea of 87 being a massive factor for this team, and maybe even as early as tonight. But having Naylor there as another option in combination with AT19, like loving what McCarthy has at his fingertips to make this debut a good one.
Yeah. But, again, the closer we get to the game, and you and I on the microphone or off the microphone, we pretty much talk about everything with this team, all the angles, and it really helps me, too, get ready to call the game. Just quick twitch, thinking about things and talking them out multiple times. One thing that we really haven't brought up a lot, and it's kind of hit me hard from yesterday to today, is when Kevin O'Connell said the other day after his press conference, and this little side chat that he'll have with the media sometimes, if he had a way to unplug all of the televisions in this team hotel today, then he would do it, because, I haven't watched any of it, but NFL Network, ESPN, all of them, the McAfee show, McCarthy's going to be the A topic.
Yeah.
That Bills-Ravens game last night is immortality. So you got that. You got things that took place yesterday. Yeah, there's that. But what about tonight? McCarthy. That's so much today. The point being is, what about the other guy? I mean, granted, they came out of the same draft, but the other guy was no bargain last year. I mean, Caleb put up some good numbers and actually had 2 pretty good games against the Vikings. But, the 68 sacks, third most in the history of the NFL, that's not all on the offensive line, running backs, and tight ends. And the Bears know that. Secondly, and we mentioned this last week, his 6.3 yards per attempt just reeks, I don't want to take chances down the field where there's an opportunity. A, I might get hit and sacked, and then that could be a strip sack. But B, he went 350 some odd passes without a pick. I mean, that means that you're not taking certain chances that certain quarterbacks take. And so has that changed with Caleb? What has changed with Caleb? First overall pick in the draft, all right? He's supposed to be the best of this bunch where it's ever changing. Nix was the one they talked about last year, and Bo's good. Bo's going to be very good. Bo wasn't very good yesterday.
Right.
Penix, people forgot about him. Well, he was fantastic yesterday. Now you got McCarthy. Now you got Caleb Williams. Drake May, he was kind of who we saw at the joints. He makes some plays, he makes some mistakes, stuff like that. So that quarterback class is so revered and has so much talent. Well, now JJ gets his crack tonight for a coach who knows how to raise quarterbacks in this setting. So the born leadership in the huddle, the overly used but apt but cliched it factor. Well, JJ has it, and now it's unfurled tonight. But I've just been thinking the last day and change, why isn't there more talk about Caleb Williams and this going under center stuff, and what you're going to see tonight, and it's weird for him because he's never done it. And then now doing the play action, can he really turn his back on Jonathan Grenard opposite Braxton Jones? Good luck with that. Grenard killed Braxton Jones both games last year. And in fact, with Braxton, things are so tenuous here with their left tackle. I'm not kidding you, man, and I've never made a prediction like this in all my years calling Vikings football. If Grenard does to Braxton Jones tonight what he did last year, they're going to bench the left tackle. Mark my words. He'll take him out of the game, and he'll put a new guy in, because that's how cold-blooded this new head coach is for the Bears. So what does that mean for Caleb Williams when they don't really trust their left tackle and he's going against guys who rush fast? So I just think there should be more talk about the next step for the first overall pick in the 2024 draft with this coach who runs up 30.5 on all the good teams in the NFL.
Well, I know you're cold-blooded because if they bench Braxton Jones, you have Theo Benedette's name ready to fire in prime time when number 79.
Yeah, Basile or whatever his name. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Ozzy Trapilo. I mean, my goodness.
Thank you.
if we start,
Basile.
Timony. Time for
yesterday. Yesterday, you probably watched more than I did because I was traveling for this game. But yesterday was so interesting on so many levels, man. Kickers and quarterbacks. Like you got your guy Younghoe Koo, for Atlanta. Man. This is a game-tying field goal. Stefanski's kicker, the Syracuse rookie, Andre Schmidt, misses an extra point. Misses a 36-yarder to take the lead against Joe Burrow with about 2 minutes to go in the game. So they're going to take the lead. Then they're going to play defense with Myles Garrett, who already had 2 sacks and was killing them. And Kevin and the Calm cut veteran Dustin Hopkins last week. And it wasn't the most popular, Browns covenant decision ever made. And then the new guy, the Syracuse rookie, basically loses the game for them. Well, then you get C.J. Stroud. His yards per attempt was 6.9. They didn't score a touchdown. What happened to C.J. Stroud? And Diggs goes 57 yards on 16 targets, which is terrible. And then you get to the team that beat him. And I'm like Pete Carroll, though. I mean, Geno Smith, 10.6 for the yards per attempt. Geno Smith went for 362 yards yesterday in a season opener. So, some of the quarterbacks that I was watching yesterday, Spencer Rattler slinging it, and he has this savoir-faire to him, but he's slinging it basically to nobody. Flacco was below average. Russ was a disaster, and Bo Nix was nothing special. So it just was a strange day in the NFL yesterday. And then you get that game last night, 41-40. It's immortality.
Yeah. How much of that did you get to watch? It was amazing. I mean, speaking of kickers and quarterbacks, Rodgers looked okay yesterday. Boswell from 60 yards to help take care of Justin Fields, who frankly, other than late, he was clomping around. Justin Fields kind of fit into that mix in New York. But then you get Matt Prater. I mean, the guy's like 50. He just happened to be in town for like some sort of conference, and they pull him out of the hotel. He runs onto the field, kicks a game winner, and gets carried off. I mean, yesterday was awesome, man. It was awesome, and it all leads up to tonight.
Yeah, and with Green Bay, and I am not diminishing what I watched with Green Bay yesterday. They were fast. They were in tune. I loved how they used Parsons. I saw Love actually throw 4 consecutive passes from the right foot, and they were the right team the entire game. It was a wire-to-wire victory, and it was convincing. Well, what I left, and again, I'm not diminishing what Green Bay did, but I left that game. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm like my coordinator, John Morton. I mean, I don't know, man. It's not bad for everybody in the NFC North if they're messed up in Detroit with all that talent. It just was so different yesterday with the way they run things and how slowly they're getting out of the huddle into the line of scrimmage. I don't know, man. I was not impressed with Detroit yesterday at all.
No, it's kind of what we were talking about in the weeks leading up, though, is just the amount of the amount of change. And one thing, and frankly, we could see it on the other end where we've had trouble with the O-line, specifically from a size perspective. Let's move man 1 or 2 yards and move the sticks with the short run game. And now with these beef eaters we have in the interior, I'm hoping things go well tonight for Jones and Jordan Mason. But on the other end of it, we for years now, a handful of years, I'll call it, we've spoken of Detroit like, hey, they got this L here, this L there, but with the O-line, there are no L's. And this is a problem. And Ragnow to Decker and now Penei Sewell, he's running routes and freaking catching passes on us. But that was different yesterday, man. I mean, I think it kind of starts there where Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, as talented as he is, should not lead you with 10 receptions. And a long catch of the day for Jameson Williams was 11. I mean, no explosion. And it starts with the Christian Mahogany bid on one side of Glasgow. Tate Ratledge, he has a right to get better on the other side. I mean, that is a massive sea change from an O-line that we've always revered as being top handful in the league.
Yeah, I know that for whatever the reason, I'm being a little hyperbolic this morning, and I'm not generally that way. And when I say that, I mean, I'm not kidding you. If that left tackle has consistent problems with Grenard, he's going to get benched for your guy, Tucillo, Ryan Russillo. But okay, so there's that. But this is a little hyperbolic, but I just think that I know what I'm looking for sometimes. I don't like this Lions thing, man. Yeah. I just don't like it. Glasgow is the center. We've talked about this. He was their center in like 2018, and they liked it so much they drafted Frank Ragnow to replace him. And then Glasgow leaves, and now he's a guard, and now he's back to center. I mean, I thought he was awful yesterday. And when you're slow out of the huddle, and when the play action's not working the way it used to with Ragnow, it's a 1 week problem. But let's just get a snapshot of the last 2 times we saw the Lions. They were getting murdered at home against Washington. Then their coordinator leaves, all those coaches leave, and then now that yesterday. And now they fought hard, but Green Bay kind of destroyed them yesterday, and they just have too much talent for that to happen. So we'll see what's up with the kiddies this year.
Any final thoughts on the purple tonight? I'm excited to hear you and Pete and Lieber on the call, man.
Can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. 5:00 for the pregame with Moss. I'm really excited to watch how they use Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. And I think there are some things coming with those two tonight that people are really going to like, perhaps in tandem. But this gives you the opportunity to get Jones out in space more. So you get Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, there's a big offseason talker that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to line up more as a wide receiver, and they're going to do jet sweeps and get him out in space and all that. And yeah, I saw some of it yesterday for sure. Well, Jones isn't, he doesn't have the pop Jahmyr Gibbs does at this stage of his career, but Aaron can do that. You can put Aaron all over the place, can't you? He can catch. Well, what about Aaron Jones in space? with Mason maybe also in the game, as the threat of running between the tackles. I think that'd be pretty fresh. Thielen, I sat down with Adam for a little bit this morning. I know you're happy for me before this, and we chatted for a little bit about how excited he is to be back, and just what goes into learning all of these plays that he remembers some from when he was here. But I mean, it's just hard. I mean, it's a lot. So he's in complete study mode, but he's smart and he'll be up to speed. I can't wait to watch him play, and I can't wait to watch the Hargrave, Jonathan Allen bit with Grenard and Van Ginkel and Cashman and Pace making up part of the front seven. And just to see what it looks like. But I'm really excited for Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones this evening, and I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, thanks as always, man. I will see you tomorrow morning. You'll fire a bullet on the radio tonight as you always do, and looking forward to it.
Yep, love you, buddy. I'll be at the facility tomorrow, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, and about 25 hours from now, Kevin O'Connell and X's and O's on the 9 to noon audio network.
Love you, brother. See you later.
Love you too. Bye.
That's Paul Allen, voice of the Vikings, joining me 9 to noon. Always appreciate it. It's a game day, so there was coffee. There may have been Vikings communications staff in the mix. You heard that maybe at least there was a little sit-down chat with the player and the host. He did say he doesn't like to get hyperbolic on a game day, but the excitement is there. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Final game on the Week 1 slate is right in front of us. As we get closer to game time tonight, 7 p.m. kickoff, you'll get to hear the literal boom from the host. And when we return, you're going to get to hear from the sideline analyst. He's going to be at Soldier Field tonight. Ben Lieber will continue the Vikings conversation into the second hour. It's Nordo now officially in for PA on a game day on the Fan.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.